Hello everyone and welcome to Vacant Cases. Today we will be going into the archives and taking a look into the case of Tabitha Tuders. On April 29th, 2003 at around 7 a.m., Tabitha's father woke her up as he was getting ready for work. On his way out the door, he seen her watching TV. She was supposed to board the school bus at 8 a.m. at Boscobel Street. People saw her walking towards that direction, but 8 a.m. arrived and Tabitha never got on that bus, and she never arrived at Bailey Middle School. Later that evening, when she didn't return home, her parents contacted the school, and when they called, they found out she had been absent from school the entire day and never got on the bus. They then reported her missing shortly around 6 p.m. Now, I just want to say, I don't know about anyone else or anyone else's schools, but I thought schools were supposed to call home and figure out why a student didn't show up for that particular day. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I thought that's what happened, but I thought all schools did that. Anyways, initially authorities treated Tabitha as a runaway due to how old she was, even though she does not have a history of running away and her parents could not think of a single reason why she would want to leave her home. She was also a straight A student with a perfect attendance record. She never missed a day, so it makes it even more suspicious when she disappeared. She was also supposed to go visit the Six Flags of America amusement park in Louisville, Kentucky 2 weeks after she disappeared, and it was reported that she was very excited and happy about the trip. She also left behind all of her belongings and possessions, including her clothes, makeup, and $20 in cash, which you probably wouldn't do if you were running away from home, especially the cash. You would probably take that with you if you were running away. In Tabitha's room, they found a piece of paper that might have some connection to her case. The paper reads TDT NMTL TDT. And TDT are Tabitha's initials. The other initials, MTL, are unknown and they have never been figured out. They also found a business card with Tabitha's name, address, phone number, and the notions "call me" and "sexy girl," the which of "sexy girl" was crossed out and rewritten as "ghetto girl." The card turned out to have been given to her by a friend, and it ended up having no connection to her disappearance. Police also searched the logs of a computer at the local library where Tabitha is said to have visited to access internet chat rooms, but turned up no information pertaining to her disappearance. While investigating, a neighborhood boy told police that he saw Tabitha get into a red car with an African-American male on the morning of her disappearance. The boy said once Tabitha was inside the vehicle, it reversed and headed back up the hill. Now, Tabitha's sister's former boyfriend, which is a mouthful, he matched the description of the driver, and he also drove a red car, and he knew where and when Tabitha took the bus to school each morning. But police have never been able to connect him to the disappearance and get any evidence that he knows anything about the disappearance. The boy's story has never been confirmed, and some investigators doubt his credibility because of his age, but tracker dogs traced Tabitha's scent along a route similar to the one described by the boy. The dogs eventually traced her scent into an alley, a place Tabitha's friends say she would never have gone alone. We're going to skip ahead a little bit to August, where a man was arrested for trying to lure an 11-year-old girl into his car. He was looked at as being one of the main people of interest in her case because of the nature of the crime and because the incident happened just a few blocks away from Tabitha's home, but they ended up not finding any evidence connecting the man to Tabitha's disappearance. Also in the same month, on August 19th, 2003, an 11-year-old girl named Heaven Ross disappeared while on her way to school in Northport, Alabama. Her remains were later found in Holt, Alabama, 3 years after her disappearance. Her murder remains unsolved like Tabitha Ross had light-colored hair and disappeared in the morning hours on the way to school. Authorities are considering a possible connection between the girls' cases, but so far no evidence has been uncovered to link the two cases. Jumping ahead again to October 30th, 2003, a trucker reported a possible sighting of Tabitha in Linton, Indiana. The trucker saw a girl accompanied by a man and another teenage girl. The girl, who looked like Tabitha, appeared to be anxious and afraid. Later, when the trucker saw a missing persons flyer of Tabitha, he realized that she resembled the girl he seen and contacted the police. And not too long later, a hotel clerk in Linton also seen a girl resembling Tabitha with a man and a teenage girl and reported it, though these sightings have never been confirmed. And for years and years after 2003, there's been hundreds of leads, a bunch of information, but never led to any arrest, and they never found Tabitha, not her remains, not her, and just nothing, no evidence to lead to anyone except for recently, until one person's name kept popping up too many times. He was a suspect.
Nashville cold case homicide detectives, of course, are digging and sifting through soil, looking for evidence in the 2003 disappearance of the 13-year-old Tabitha Tuders. Police have tracked hundreds of leads over the years, but what is it that led them to start digging on this property in Bon Aqua now 17 years later? People wondering. Well, I've learned they obtained a search warrant because this property was owned by a convicted felon in 2003 who has long been a person of interest in this case. He also had a place where he lived not far from Tudors' home back in Nashville in 2003. Police have always stopped just short of calling him a prime suspect, but they say his name just kept coming up in the investigation and in tips they were receiving. So the way I had it explained to me from those close to the case, cold case detectives still have their suspicions. This guy owned a remote piece of property, and if he took Tabitha, this is where he might have hidden her body.
And the person that's name was popping up, his name is Albert Franklin, and that is a picture of him right there. He owned the property in 2003, June 2003, and he owned it for a couple months before selling it back to the original owners. He, of course, denies any involvement in Tabitha's disappearance, but his name keeps popping up in the case, apparently, according to police. But either way, apparently, that property, there was no evidence found on that property, or at least no new information found, because ever since they searched that property back in August 2020, there has been no new information since then, and it's been almost a year since that happened, and there has been no new information. And that is it for the unsolved case of Tabitha Tuders. She's never been found. She hasn't been seen since 2003, and there are some leads, and I think personally the one that is the most suspicious to me would be the boy saying that he's seen her get into the red car, and her sister's previous boyfriend has a red car. I don't know, that just seems suspicious, and I think there should have been more investigating and looking around into that. I mean, I guess they did look into it, they didn't find anything, but it just seems suspicious to me, and that's where I would probably look the most. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this case in the comments below. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one.
She sketched in her brain at 13. That was the worst day of my life. And it is like the earth just opened up and took her away. You never know. With this world, you never know. 18 years is too long. I don't want to go another year. She was my heart. I keep her in my mind. I talk about her every day. I look at her pictures. If she's gone, at least I want to know where she's at. If she's passed, I just want to put her to rest and let, so I can have a place to go to. already got her headstone and everything. One day we're going to find her. Somebody's going to tell us where she's at.